October 2nd, 1905. Dear Mr. Duneka, I have just finished a short story which I greatly admire, and so will you. A Horse's Tale, about 15,000 words as a rough guess. It has good fun in it and several characters and is lively. I shall finish revising it in a few days or more, then Jean will type it. Don't you think you can get it into the January and February numbers and issue it as a $1 booklet just after the middle of January, when you issue the February number? It ought to be ably illustrated. Why not sell simultaneous rights for this once, to the Ladies' Home Journal, or Collier's, or both, and recoup yourself? For I would like to get it to classes that can't afford Harper's. Although it doesn't preach, there's a sermon concealed in it. Yours sincerely, Mark. October 7th, 1905. Dear Mr. Duneka, I've made a poor guess as to number of words. I think there must be 20,000. My usual page of manuscript contains about 130 words, but when I am deeply interested in my work and dead to everything else, my handwriting shrinks and shrinks until there's a great deal more than 130 on a page. Oh, yes, a deal more. Well, I discovered this morning that this tale is written in that small hand. This strong interest is natural, for the heroine is my daughter Susie, whom we lost. It was not intentional. It was a good while before I found it out. So I am sending you her picture to use, and to reproduce with photographic exactness the unsurpassable expression and all. May you find an artist who has lost an idol. Take as good care of the picture as you can and restore it to me when I come. I hope you will illustrate this tale considerably, not humorous pictures, no. When they are good or bad, one's humor gets no chance to play surprises on the reader. A humorous subject illustrated seriously is all right, but a humorous artist is no fit person for such work. You see, the humorous writer pretends to absolute seriousness when he knows his trade. Then for an artist to step in and give his calculated gravity all away with a funny picture, oh, my land! It gives me the dry gripes just to think of it. It would be just about up to the average comic artist's intellectual level to make a funny picture of the horse kicking the lungs out of a trader. Hang it, the remark is funny because the horse is not aware of it. But the fact is not humorous, it is tragic, and it is no subject for a humorous picture. Could I be allowed to sit in judgment upon the pictures before they are accepted? At least those in which Kathy may figure? This is not essential, it is but a suggestion, and it is hereby withdrawn if it would be troublesome or cause delay. I hope you will reproduce the cat pile full page and save the photo for me in as good condition as possible. When Susie and Clara were little tots, those cats had their profoundest worship, and there is no duplicate of this picture. These cats all had thundering names, or inappropriate ones, furnished by the children, with my help. One was named Buffalo Bill. Are you interested in coincidences? After discovering about the middle of the book that Kathy was Susie Clemens, I put her picture with my manuscript to be reproduced. After the book was finished, it was discovered that Susie had a dim model of Soldier Boy in her arms. I had forgotten all about that toy. Then I examined the cat picture and laid it with the manuscript for introduction. But it was not until yesterday that I remembered that one of the cats was named Buffalo Bill. Sincerely yours, Mark. Dublin, October 9th, 1905. As to the other matters, here are the details. Yes, I have tried a number of summer homes here and in Europe together. Each of these homes had charms of its own, charms and delights of its own, and some of them, even in Europe, had comforts. Several of them had conveniences, too. They all had a view. It is my conviction that there should always be some water in a view, a lake or a river, but not the ocean if you are down on its level. I think that when you are down on its level, it seldom inflames you with an ecstasy which you could not get out of a sand flat. It is like being on board ship over again. Indeed, it is worse than that, for there's 3 months of it. On board ship, one tires of the aspects in a couple of days, and quits looking. The same vast circle of heaving humps is spread around you all the time, with you in the center of it and never gaining an inch on the horizon, so far as you can see. For variety, a flight of flying fish mornings, a flock of porpoises throwing somersaults afternoons, a remote whale spouting Sundays, occasional phosphorescent effects nights. Every other day, a streak of black smoke trailing along under the horizon. On the one single red-letter day, the illustrious iceberg. I have seen that iceberg 34 times in 37 voyages. It is always the same shape, it is always the same size, it always throws up the same old flash when the sun strikes it. You may see it on any New York doorstep of a June morning and light it up with a mirror flash, and I will engage to recognize it. It is artificial, and it is provided and anchored out by the steamer companies. I used to like the sea, but I was young then, and could easily get excited over any kind of monotony, and keep it up till the monotonies ran out, if it was a fortnight. Last January, when we were beginning to inquire about a home for this summer, I remember that Abbot Thayer had said 3 years before that the New Hampshire Highlands was a good place. He was right. It was a good place. Any place that is good for an artist in paint is good for an artist in morals and ink. Brush is here, too. So is Colonel T. W. Higginson. So is Raphael Pumpelly. So is Mr. Secretary Hitchcock. So is Henderson. So is Learned. So is Summer. So is Franklin McVeigh. So is Joseph L. Smith. So is Henry Copley Green, when I am not occupying his house, which I am doing this season. Paint, literature, science, statesmanship, history, professorship, law, morals, these are all represented here, yet crime is substantially unknown. The summer homes of these refugees are sprinkled a mile apart among the forest-clad hills, with access to each other by firm, smooth country roads, which are so embowered in dense foliage that it is always twilight in there and comfortable. The forests are spider-webbed with these good roads, they go everywhere. But for the help of the guide-boards, the stranger would not arrive anywhere. The village, Dublin, is bunched together in its own place, but a good telephone service makes its markets handy to all those outliers. I've spelt it that way to be witty. The village executes orders on the Boston plan, promptness and courtesy. The summer homes are high-perched as a rule and have contented outlooks. The house we occupy has one. Monadnock, a soaring double hump, rises into the sky at its left elbow. That is to say, it is close at hand. From the base of the long slant of the mountain, the valley spreads away to the circling frame of the hills, and beyond the frame the billowy sweep of remote great ranges rises to view and flows fold upon fold, wave upon wave, soft and blue and unworldly, to the horizon 50 miles away. In these October days, Monadnock and the valley and its framing hills make an inspiring picture to look at, for they are sumptuously splashed and mottled and betorched from skyline to skyline with the richest dyes the autumn can furnish. And when they lie flaming in the full drench of the mid-afternoon sun, the sight affects the spectator physically. It stirs his blood like military music. These summer homes are commodious, well-built, and well-furnished, facts which sufficiently indicate that the owners built them to live in themselves. They have furnaces and wood fireplaces and the rest of the comforts and conveniences of a city home, and can be comfortably occupied all the year round. We cannot have this house next season, but I have secured Mrs. Upton's house, which is over in the Law and Science Quarter, 2 or 3 miles from here, and about the same distance from the art, literary, and scholastic groups. The Science and Law Quarter has needed improving this good while. The nearest railway station is distant something like an hour's drive. It is 3 hours from there to Boston over a branch line. You can go to New York in 6 hours per branch lines if you change cars every time you think of it. But it is better to go to Boston and stop over and take the trunk line next day. Then you do not get lost. It is claimed that the atmosphere of the New Hampshire Highlands is exceptionally bracing and stimulating, and a fine aid to hard and continuous work. It is a just claim, I think. I came in May and wrought 35 successive days without a break. It is possible that I could not have done it elsewhere. I do not know. I have not had any disposition to try it before. I think I got the disposition out of the atmosphere this time. I feel quite sure, in fact, that that is where it came from. I am ashamed to confess what an intolerable pile of manuscript I ground out in the 35 days. Therefore, I will keep the number of words to myself. I wrote the first half of a long tale, The Adventures of a Microbe, and put it away for a finish next summer, and started another long tale, The Mysterious Stranger. I wrote the first half of it and put it with the other for a finish next summer. I stopped then. I was not tired, but I had no books on hand that needed finishing this year, except one that was 7 years old. After a little, I took that one up and finished it, not for publication, but to have it ready for revision next summer. Since I stopped work, I've had a 2 months holiday. The summer has been my working time for 35 years. To have a holiday in it, in America, is new for me. I have not broken it except to write Eve's Diary and A Horse's Tale, short things occupying the mill 12 days. This year our summer is 6 months long and ends with November and the flight home to New York, but next year we hope and expect to stretch it another month and end it the 1st of December.